suspected natural causes. We're going to have the details in just a few minutes. Then the Federal Reserve meets as the president takes his economic pitch on the road. We're going to break down the recent moves by the president ahead of a key decision on interest rates. And after experiencing our first and only freeze this season, is winter here to stay, Robert?
Well, that's right. It was one morning of cold 28 degrees, and now we're going into the 70s. I'm going to have your detailed forecast. We're live on KTSM 9+, and your news starts right now.
This is KTSM 9 News. Breaking news.
Well, we start with breaking news this hour. A Guatemalan man detained at the Camp East Montana detention facility at Fort Bliss has died from suspected natural causes, and this is all according to ICE officials. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for choosing KTSM 9+. I'm Monica Cortez. 48-year-old Francisco Gaspar Andres was pronounced dead yesterday morning at the hospitals of Providence East. Now, according to a news release by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Gaspar Andres was admitted to the hospital last month, and while the cause of death is pending, medical staff attributed it to natural liver and kidney failure. The man had told immigration officials that he entered the U.S. illegally. He was detained at the Camp East Montana detention facility pending removal proceedings. However, during his stay at the detention facility, his health continued to decline, and despite several hospital visits for treatment, he was eventually diagnosed with renal failure and internal bleeding, which then led to his death on December 3rd. Now, this is, of course, a developing story, so for the complete timeline of events and more, just head on over to KTSM.com. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar is joining 122 House Democrats in introducing the Dignity for Detained Immigrants Act. This legislation is to enact safety measures and oversight on immigration detention centers and to make sure that civil and human rights are protected. Now, according to a news release on the act, since President Donald Trump returned to office, the U.S. of immigration detention has skyrocketed to unprecedented levels with over 66,000 people detained. Now, during that period of time, 23 people have died in ICE custody. Among a list of requirements, the legislation would repeal mandatory detention, phase out the use of private detention facilities and jails over a 3-year period, and require the Department of Homeland Security to allow members of Congress to enter detention facilities for unannounced inspections. And the new legislation comes only one day after serious allegations were made against Camp East Montana, which is located on Fort Bliss property. Now, as we first told you yesterday, beatings, medical neglect, insufficient and even rotten food are among the long list of allegations made against the migrant detention facility by several human rights groups, led by the ACLU in Texas. Now, it did detailed news release. The groups summarized alleged horrific conditions, including beatings and sexual abuse by officers against detained immigrants. We did reach out to Senator John Cornyn and Congressman Tony Gonzalez about these accusations. Cornyn's team said that they were unavailable to speak, and we have not heard from Gonzalez's camp as of this newscast. And our very own Diana Castillo is speaking exclusively with the family member of one of the detainees who was allegedly abused at Camp East Montana. She's going to have a lot more coming up in our later newscasts. All right, let's go ahead and take you outside using our TechStock camera. So we do have a crash on I-10 Travel Information Center. This is in West El Paso. This is traveling west. So if this is your commute, just know that the traffic is going to be not great heading in that direction. So if you are heading towards the west side, there is quite a bit of backup stretching all the way past Aircraft. It's been like this for a few hours, so just keep that in mind as you're heading on out. Well, first at 4, a man arrested on a warrant for homicide and attempted homicide and extradited to Ciudad Juarez. Now, the District Attorney's Office North Zone carried out an arrest warrant for 40-year-old Hugo Cesar P.A. for the possible crimes of aggravated homicide and attempted aggravated homicide. A court order was issued last week and served in collaboration with the National Guard, and he was deported from the U.S. at the Staten Bridge. Now, the case will be taken to a hearing where an agent of the public ministry will formulate charges against him. All right, let's go ahead and pause from today's headlines and talk about the other big headline for today, which of course is our weather. Now, it was quite chilly. This was Monday morning, and it's kind of been nice. It was a little chilly last night as well, but this afternoon, not bad whatsoever. I didn't even have to bring my jacket. Yeah. Robert, did we just get a glimpse of winter?
Well, I think it's very important that we freeze one night. And then we'll just move back into the 70s, and we'll just skip that cold weather, trees. Right? Yeah. No, the trees, they need the hard freezes. You know, that's very good for trees. So I'm not speaking for trees right now. 67 degrees at the airport. Wow, what a wonderful afternoon. And we can thank this high pressure and this right here. We've got a nice westerly breeze coming in about 10 miles per hour. Very dry, dew point only 16 right now. Here are the unofficial high temperatures so far today. 71 at the pass, 70 for Juarez, 63 Las Cruces, 68 Deming, and 64 for Alamogordo. Oh, just get ready. This isn't even the warmest afternoon yet. The 70s are yet to come, and there's a very slight chance we could tip 70 degrees this very afternoon. Now tomorrow the winds come in from the other direction with a very mild, cool front, we'll call it, so west siders will feel those breezes. Here's a quick look ahead. High tomorrow, 68 degrees, lots of sunshine, a little breezy at times, and then boom, here comes 73 on Thursday and 72 on Friday. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Well, the Westside Tax Office is closed to the public and will remain closed for reorganization until further notice. And this is what the El Paso County tax assessor collectors told KTSM. Now, as we first told you on KTSM.com, the closure took effect December 1st and followed rolling closures of county tax offices, including the one on the west side in November. Now, the community is urged to go to the other tax office locations, fully serve as deputy officers, or the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles for registration and titling services. Ruben Gonzalez, county tax assessor collector, sent KTSM a statement saying the closures are until further notice, writing in part, quote, "Our actions were necessitated by the lack of support of the county commissioners who have failed to provide me the necessary staffing and space to perform my job as required by the state legislature." He goes on to say, "Until the Commissioner's Court provides me the needed resources, the office on our west side will be closed to the public to focus on dealer work. I have no choice, and it is not my desire to not provide our citizens with their needed services," end quote. Over to national coverage now. The economy continues to be a top issue for voters across the country, and the president is looking to address those concerns. In today's Political Minute, News Nation's Blake Berman details recent moves by the department ahead of a key decision on interest rates.
The Federal Reserve meets as the president takes his economic pitch on the road. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. The Fed holding its last meeting of 2025 on Tuesday and Wednesday to decide what to do about interest rates. It's expected to cut rates by 0.25%. Factors the Fed considers include the jobs market and inflation. Due to the government shutdown, the most recent inflation data is from September. It shows inflation at 3%, slightly higher than a year ago, but well below the highs we saw back in 2022. It also comes as the president turns his focus to the economy, speaking at a rally in Pennsylvania. On Monday, President Trump announced a $12 billion aid package for struggling U.S. farmers. The White House saying that money comes from tariff revenues. So far this year, the U.S. has collected more than $200 billion from tariffs on foreign goods. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Well, as we've been telling you, more than 36 babies have been sickened in an infant botulism outbreak tied to contaminated formula. Now, all of the babies were treated with an unusual orphan drug created from the blood plasma of people who were immunized against botulism. The product, called Baby Big, is the only treatment in the world for this rare and life-threatening condition that affects infants under the age of 1. We did speak with the mother of a child who was hospitalized and treated for botulism.
She wakes up, can't lift her head, can't move her arms and legs. We start getting stuff ready for the emergency room. I get on the phone with the advice nurse again. She obviously is like, go straight to the emergency room. So we do, and then they start, running all kinds of tests.
Baby Big was licensed by the FDA in 2003. It was championed and produced by a doctor who spent more than 45 years at the California Health Department working on infant botulism. Well, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has officially filed to run for U.S. Senate. She made her formal announcement yesterday. Coming up, we're going to go over your thoughts in today's In the Comments segment. Thank you so much for watching KTSM 9 Plus, always putting local first.
Merry
Welcome back, everyone. Well, in today's In the Comments segment, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has officially filed to run for U.S. Senate. Now, Crockett made her formal announcement yesterday at an event in Dallas. Crockett is a former public defender and civil rights attorney. The Dallas Democrat served as a state representative back in 2021. Then in 2022, she ran for Congress, winning the seat held by longtime Representative Eddie Bernice Johnson. After announcing her retirement, Johnson encouraged Crockett to run and endorsed her. Crockett then gained a viral fame for her fiery statements against Republicans, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene back in 2024. Now, we did share the story all over our social media pages, and a lot of you had lots you wanted to share with us. So we're going to start off with Erwin Malcolm, who writes, "Primary debates will be fun to watch." Meanwhile, Deanna Carr Glasgow writes, "I support Tellerico. I think he has the best chance to win in November." And Lorraine Gonzalez writes, "The truth always hurts when you are guilty, and this lady will get the truth." Now, yesterday, speaking to a room full of supporters, she said she originally planned to run for re-election to the House, but then she said the moment called for her to make a run for Senate. To read more about the Texas Senate race, simply visit KTSM.com. And here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Well, Paso is getting a closer look at AI at La Nube Steam Discovery Center. Up next, when the new series will begin and who can be a part of it. Make sure you're staying with us here at KTSM 9+.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
It was cold this morning, but not as cold as 28 degrees on Monday morning. Here with the low temperatures in your town. At the airport, we made it to 34, 36 Juarez, 32 Las Cruces, 27 Alamogordo, and 32 for Truth or Consequences. But we have a change tonight. We have a little breeze. We have a westerly breeze coming in at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And believe it or not, just a little bit of stirring of the wind can add a few degrees. So I think we'll be at about 38 tonight at the International Airport. Still cold, but not quite as cold. Here are the unofficial high temperatures so far today. 69 Van Horn, 70 for Juarez, 67 for us, 63 Las Cruces, and 68 for Deming. Very mild, beautiful afternoon. Let's compare to other towns in the southwest. Look at Dallas, out of the 50s, back up to 66, close to 70. Austin and San Antonio, 70. Del Rio, and 77 out in Phoenix. Satellite radar composite. A similar pattern. We've got this giant ridge of high pressure that stretches from Tijuana all the way over to Brownsville, and it is basically elevating the temperatures of Mexico and the southwestern United States. Tomorrow we get slightly cooler air in here, and the west siders will feel it because the winds shift directions. Instead of coming in from the west, They'll come in from the east, so a little breezy at times. 62 degrees. Temperature right now in Las Cruces. We've got a dew point at 14, so very dry. It'll be clear again tonight, but if you'll notice the general flow of these winds from the west, that's going to keep the temperatures up just a little bit, just a few degrees overnight tonight. Here are the temperatures in your neighborhood. Now, it will be clear tonight. We'll have that little bit of a breeze coming in from the west. Low temperature about 38 at the airport. Very similar down in the valley tonight. Here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast for tomorrow. I've got the high temperature pegged at 68 with sunshine, a little breezy on the western slopes and the mountains. Your allergy forecast looks like this. 9s for the next 3 days. That's moderately high. Low temperatures tonight. 35 Alamogordo, 33 Deming, and 39 for Juarez, 65 Alamogordo tomorrow, 68 for Deming, 69 Juarez, and 66 for Van Horn. Tonight for you, Las Cruces, 35 degrees, your low temperature this evening, and clear tomorrow. Sunshine, really beautiful day. High temperature 66, way above normal. 38 our low temperature tonight at the International Airport, and then tomorrow 68 degrees with lots of sunshine. Now only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. We're going to really take off on Thursday. That high pressure ridge reaches its maximum, and 73 will be the high temperature that afternoon. 72 on Friday, 72 on Saturday, also warm. Then we cool down a bit on Sunday at 64. We'll stay in those 60s until we return to the 70s again next week. Don't go anywhere. More KTSM 9 News coming up in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, in more local news, the annual Iron Summit Leadership Conference is coming to downtown El Paso this week. Fort Bliss leaders will be at Abraham Chavez Theater to hear from a series of guest speakers that hope to give them a sense of purpose. Now, we spoke with one of the event organizers who goes more into depth about this event. Take a listen.
I think it's awesome that we're down here in El Paso, having the opportunity to do this event within the community. But also, I think it's also important that we're bringing people from outside the community, which we've got a lot of speakers. Some will be virtual, and we'll get to hear those different perspectives, and we'll get to see what they can offer us as leaders and what we can bring back to our formations. And so that's what makes this event exciting.
Now, he goes on to tell us about the event that it's also an opportunity for Fort Bliss service members to dive into the charm and hospitality of our city. Well, El Paso is getting a closer look at AI through the world of Minecraft. La Nube Steam Discovery Center is hosting a workshop series they're calling Minecraft Hour of Code Generation AI. Now, the Microsoft Director of Public Affairs says that the event is about giving every student a chance to see themselves as a creator in a digital world. The series will start in 2026, happening every third Saturday of the month at 1 in the afternoon. Well, you can now get a jump on celebrating New Year's early this year with the Plunge into the New Year event at Escarate Pool. This fun, family-friendly experience invites El Pasoans to dive into the chilly waters at the pool and start 2026 with excitement and energy. The event will be from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday, December 20th. It will begin with an initial group plunge at 1 p.m., followed by open plunging for the remainder of the hour. Well, don't go anywhere. We still have another half hour of news and weather coming your way. This is KTSM 9+. Welcome back to KTSM 9+. I'm Monica Cortez. The El Paso County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man in connection to Saturday's deadly crash in Montana Vista that killed one person and injured two others. So according to El Paso County Sheriff's Office, 29-year-old Gerard Nelson has been arrested and is facing 1 count of intoxication manslaughter with the vehicle and 2 counts of intoxication assault with the vehicle. Now, as KTSM first told you, the incident happened Saturday around 3:45 in the afternoon on Montana near Desert Meadows. According to the affidavit that we obtained, investigators say Nelson ran a red light, hitting a black Ford Focus. The impact was so severe that the Ford Focus's tires broke off and became embedded in the other vehicle. Its engine broke off and hit a utility pole, others 7 feet high. Now, the passenger of the Ford Focus was ejected from the vehicle. 2 other passengers were transported to a local hospital with serious injuries, and the sheriff's office says 60-year-old Lucia Villa died from her injuries. A vanilla Jim Beam bottle was found in the front seat of the vehicle Nelson was driving. And a 19-year-old man wanted on charges in Texas was turned over to the U.S. by Mexican officials. According to the state of Chihuahua, the man identified as Alfredo E.G. was wanted by the U.S. for homicide and aggravated assault committed in Texas. The state of Chihuahua says that the suspect was captured as a result of a binational coordination. He was handed over to American authorities at the Staten International Bridge. And a group representing U.S. immigration lawyers says the new asylum ban on migrants from 19 countries is unnecessary and won't help national security. The Trump administration implemented the ban, which affects all current and pending asylum cases for people from those countries after the shooting of 2 West Virginia soldiers over in Thanksgiving. Ben Johnson of the American Immigration Lawyers Association says the new policy will add to the 3.4 million backlogged immigration cases and will cause migrants who have already been vetted to undergo more screening and years of waiting.
These policies don't just disrupt paperwork, they derail lives. They separate residents, separate families, destabilize workplaces, leave employers scrambling, and send a message to longtime residents who have done everything the government has asked of them that they are expendable.
Now, Johnson's group today released a policy brief that is critical of those new policies. They're asking Congress to oversee the vetting process to ensure it happens in a, quote, timely manner, end quote. A link to the brief and a list of the countries affected can be found at borderreport.com. Well, over to our Austin newsroom. More Texas students are joining Charlie Kirk's conservative group, Turning Point USA. That's an organization that advocates for conservative politics in school. Jayla Washington has this story.
Excited high school and college students on the front steps of the governor's mansion, taking photos and proudly representing chapters of conservative nonprofit Turning Point USA from across the country.
Noah, how old are you? Where are you from?
I'm 18. I'm from Lubbock, Texas.
Noah, a student at Trinity Christian High School, was one of several who recently joined TPUSA, which promotes conservative politics and values in schools.
It just means Charlie's legacy couldn't be silenced with a bullet.
Charlie Kirk founded the group and has been credited for reaching more conservative young voters. He was shot and killed while out making an appearance on a college campus in September. And on Monday, TPSA announced that since his death, more chapters have been created, reaching more young students.
We were only on 1,200 high schools the day that he passed. I am proud to report that 3 months later, we are now on 3,000 high schools across the country.
Governor Greg Abbott says 500 of those are on Texas high schools alone. This map on the organization's website showing Round Rock, Smithson Valley, and Moe and Jean high schools having chapters on their campuses.
Born in Los Angeles.
Liberal groups like Young Austin Democrats in the state are too, still pushing to get more young people engaged in politics, supporting less conservative values that matter most to them.
I think there's always the worry to say, okay, well, let's see what they're doing and see how we can counteract whatever they are. But President Trump has been in office for over almost about a year now, and a lot of voters my age are dissatisfied with what has happened. Whether it be on economy, affordability.
Listen, this is about values.
Jayla Washington, KXAN News.
Well, happening today, the county is holding their first community meeting for the Escalante Park renovations project. The meeting gives El Pasoans an opportunity to ask questions and learn more about the early design concepts of the project. The county says that they're looking to make improvements on a new park entrance, new walking trails, restoration of the lake, and rehabilitation of the lake's island. The meeting is expected to kick off later this afternoon at 6 p.m. at Escalante Park Pavilion. All right, let's talk a little bit about weather now, because you know what, it's been a little funky lately. So we start off with the first freeze of the year, of the season, which was what, Monday morning? And then all of a sudden, Robert, you're telling us it's spring all over again.
Let's get those. We're going to freeze the trees one night, and then we're going to warm them back up so they're extremely stressed. It's not good for them.
No,
We definitely need to have a hard freeze and go into our normal pattern. And remember, normal is only in the upper 50s this time of year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Crazy. 67 degrees is the temperature at the airport right now. Winds coming in 10 miles per hour. We've got 14% relative humidity. Las Cruces, you're 62 at this hour. Westerly breeze there. Up in Ruidoso, it's beautiful. We've got just a couple of clouds over the mountain right now, and the temperature is 55 degrees, which is exceptionally warm for Ruidoso at this time of year. Now here's a quick look ahead. Tomorrow, 68 degrees, a little breezy at times on the western slopes of the mountains, and then that high pressure really asserts itself Thursday and Friday, raising us to 73 on Thursday, 72 on Friday. As we cruise into the weekend ahead, we come down a little bit on temperature, still a warm Saturday, but then boom, we're going back even warmer by the end of next week. What is going on? I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Well, a Senate committee today held a hearing on protecting children online amid growing concerns about the harms of social media and AI for kids. Washington correspondent Maddie Beer-Temple has the story.
Give anything to have my son back.
Tamia Woods lost her 17-year-old son James to suicide. She testified before senators Tuesday that someone online blackmailed him, threatening to send sexually explicit images of him to friends and family unless he sent money.
Though he died by suicide, let me be clear, he was murdered.
That online encounter, known as sextortion, was the focus of the Senate committee's hearing, examining the new ways predators are targeting children online.
The imagery, the videos, the chats that we are seeing and reading are the most graphic that I have ever seen in my 20-year history.
Lauren Coffrin with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says there's been a massive increase in new kinds of child exploitation.
Reports of these brutal victimizations grew by 200% last year and continue rising.
But former Assistant U.S. Attorney Jessica Smolar says the law and sentencing guidelines haven't kept up.
Existing statutes do not adequately address the full scope or severe harm of these crimes.
That's why Senators Chuck Grassley and Dick Durbin introduced new bills to specifically address online sextortion and update sentencing guidelines.
I think that's something we can all work on together.
Durbin and Grassley's bills are among several that address social media, AI chatbots, and holding platforms accountable. Senator Lindsey Graham is calling for the Senate to spend a week working on those bills and potentially voting on one big package.
Are we all talk, or are we willing to act? Do y'all like that idea?
I sure do. Great idea.
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beer-Temple.
Well, over to our health alert now. Soybean oil could actually increase risk for obesity, as well as type 2 diabetes, ulcerative colitis, and dementia. This is all according to a new study published in the Journal of Lipid Research. And officials say soybean oil, which is labeled in stores as vegetable oil, contains omega-6 fatty acid. Researchers are saying that the acid is perfectly safe. Consuming too much could actually increase chances for several health conditions. Soybean oil is found in many ultra-processed foods. And the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices voted 8-3 to end the long-standing recommendation that all babies in the country get the HEPB vaccine on the day they're born, reversing decades of CDC guidance and goes against widespread public health consensus. Natasha Zovis has more.
The panel is recommending that women who test negative for Hep B can decide with their doctor on whether their baby gets the birth dose, suggesting that the first dose be delayed until at least 2 months of age. Now, some public health officials worry that this reversal means we are losing a universal safety net. Hep B is an incurable infection that can lead to liver disease, cancer, and death. According to data cited in the meeting, the vaccine has been given to 1.4 billion people over the last 3 decades. It's resulted in a 99% decline in hepatitis B in kids and young adults. Now, this panel was handpicked by RFK Jr. You may remember he fired all 17 members in June and replaced them. The panel now includes some members who are considered controversial or skeptical of vaccine science. The committee was clearly divided on the issue. Those who voted no say that ending the universal birth vaccine will put kids at risk, and there just isn't data to support making that change. Other panelists agreed to study the data but still voted yes on altering the recommendation. Take a listen.
I think that the intention behind this, that parents should carefully think about whether they want to take the risk of giving another vaccine to their child.
If we deviate from the current recommended immunization schedule, which we have shown, or the CDC has shown, is beneficial, there is no evidence of harm.
You cannot say this is 100% without risk. So you might say population-wise statistically, but for the parent who has damage, as the father who spoke the other day, we can't say that this has zero risk.
The American Medical Association, for its part, slamming the vote, calling it reckless, saying it undermines decades of public confidence in a proven life-saving vaccine. And it's also catching the attention of Congress, specifically Bill Cassidy, a Republican senator who's also a liver doctor. He was a key vote in confirming RFK Jr., and he's taking to X, saying the recommendation is a mistake. He added, "This makes America sicker," and he is now calling on the CDC director to not sign the new recommendation.
Now, it's very important to note that the committee only makes the recommendation. Acting CDC Director Jim Onel still has to sign it. Now, he is a biotech investor from Silicon Valley and not a physician. All right, well, coming up, beatings, neglect, and rotten food are among the list of allegations made against Camp East Montana, the migrant detention facility on Fort Bliss. We're going to go over your thoughts on this topic in our In the Comments segment. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM 9+, putting local first.
local.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderlands' only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Our sense of duty told us to wear cranberry today.
I know, we're matching.
Yes, we are. But the weather outside says we really should be wearing, like,
shorts,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah, shorts. Should we wear shorts?
It's just been so warm. And then you said we're going to hit somewhere in the 70s?
Yeah, about 73 on Thursday, and those 70s follow us right into the weekend.
Oh my God.
Well, we might as well enjoy it.
Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Let's skip over winter.
Shorts tomorrow?
Sure, let's do it.
Done. Here were the low temperatures from this morning, and here's a live shot outside right now. Good, 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 good. Clear skies, a little breeze coming in from the west. That's good to keep us up a few degrees overnight tonight. Here were those lows. 34 at the airport, 36 Juarez, 32 Las Cruces, and 32 for Truth or Consequences. Remember, yesterday morning it was 28 at the airport. So that's a bit of an improvement, at least on temperature. Now, normal lows this time of year is right at about 35 degrees. So that was a normal night for us. We're going to be a little warmer tonight thanks to that westerly breeze. Here are the unofficial high temperatures so far today. 69 Van Horn, 71 at the Pass, 70 for Juarez. We've been at 67, 68 for Deming, and 64 for Alamogordo. Let's compare to other towns. All of Texas is percolating up on temperature with that ridge of high pressure. 70 Corpus Christi, 69 Austin, 73 Laredo, and the warm spot Brownsville at 77 degrees. Satellite radar composite. Now we get a little bit of a change tomorrow. Tonight the winds come in from the west at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not really noticeable, but enough to keep that temperature up a few more degrees. I predict about 38 at the airport tonight. But tomorrow afternoon, the winds come in from the other direction, from the east. So west siders, it will be a little breezy at times over there tonight. So clear, a little bit of a breeze tonight. Drop it down to about 38 at the International Airport. And then tomorrow, 68 degrees our high. Here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast for Wednesday. Just a parade of beautiful weather. Sunshine tomorrow, winds breezy at times, 68 the high, which of course is a full 10 degrees above normal. Here's your allergy forecast. 9s for the next 3 days. That's moderately high. Here are the low temperatures tonight. Going to 35 Alamogordo, 39 Ruidoso, 33 for Deming, and 39 for Juarez. Highs tomorrow. Expect 65 Alamogordo, 48 for Cloudcroft, 59 at the Pass, and 68 for Deming. Tonight for you, Las Cruces, you'll be clear. Low temperature about 35 degrees, so up about 3 degrees overnight tonight. Tomorrow, your high 66, sunshine, truly just gorgeous. 38 low temperature tonight at the International Airport. Similar down in the valley because that breeze will keep it a little mixed. And then 68 your high temperature for tomorrow. Now only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather, and the 70s are in view. Thursday, that high pressure ridge reaches a maximum, and we'll raise that temperature to 73, a spring-like day. And we get 2 more just like it. 72 on Friday, just gorgeous. Couple of clouds Saturday and 72 degrees. I've actually raised that temperature a bit. Then we get a cool front in here on Sunday. It's going to pop us back down to 64, still above normal. 68 on Monday, and then if the long-range data holds together, we'll be looking at 71 on Wednesday and potentially 74 by next Thursday. Monica?
Robert, thank you so much for that. Well, we do have a traffic update to give you. This is I-10 Travel Center, Information Center. This is actually closer to I-10 Vinton. That's where a crash happened. All lanes have been closed until further notice, and you can actually tell, look at all that backup. It does not look good. So guys, if your commute is heading west, just know that, especially if you're going to the outlets, just know it's going to be a mess this afternoon. I would plan a trip to the outlets maybe tomorrow and try to avoid this. It is a little bit of a traffic nightmare. Well, beatings, neglect, and rotten food are among the list of allegations made against Camp East Montana, the migrant detention facility on Fort Bliss. Now, several human rights groups led by the ACLU of Texas sent a letter to ICE officials to stop detaining migrants at the camp. We do want to warn you that the report you're about to hear may be disturbing to some. Now, you may remember the camp opened on Fort Bliss last summer. It's set to be the largest migrant detention facility in the country. The groups, including the ACLU and the Texas Civil Rights and Human Rights Watch, sent a letter to ICE officials detailing accounts of just horrific conditions, including alleged beatings, medical neglect, insufficient food, and sexual abuse by officers. We did share the story all over our social media accounts, and lots of you had lots of thoughts you wanted to share. So we're going to start off with Andy Von Wistern, who writes, having worked at an immigration camp, I can assure you that they are being pampered, unlike military veterans living on the street. Norma Cadena says, I believe it. They are human beings, not animals. And Joe Wilson writes, however bad it looks, it's better than where they came from. Now, we have reached out to Senator Cornyn and Congressman Tony Gonzalez about these accusations. Cornyn's team said that they were unavailable to speak, and we have not heard yet from Gonzalez's camp as of this newscast. KTSM's Diana Castillo is speaking exclusively with the family member of one of the detainees who was allegedly abused at a Camp East, Montana. She's going to be having more details coming up in our later newscasts. And here at KTSM, of course, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you're following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Más Las Cruces.
I'm Amelia Lindley, Visitor Experience Manager here with the Las Cruces Museum System.
And I'm Mina Stafford, Education Manager with the Las Cruces Museum System. Now that it's the holidays, it's time for you to write your letter to Santa and put it in our mailbox so we can put it on the train to the North Pole.
This mailbox here at the Railroad Museum is available now through December 13th, which is when we have our Holiday at the Depot, a fun festive evening for family and friends to come and visit and join us from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
And we'll have all the lovely decorations, snacks, and even a special guest.
I wonder who it'll be. So come on down to the Railroad Museum now through December 13th and enjoy our festive, fun holiday at the Depot. We hope to see you there. Don't forget to visit us on social media and on our website. Happy holidays!
Más Las Cruces.
Last look at the forecast. High temperature tomorrow, 68 degrees and sunshine. High pressure building up. 73 on Thursday, 72 Friday, 72 as well on Saturday. Beautiful day. A little cool front blows in on Sunday. That'll drop us down to 64 degrees. 68 on Monday with partly cloudy skies. Then we start another little warming trend that'll take us back to those 70s on Wednesday and Thursday. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in to KTSM 9+. I'm Monica Cortez. Join me in 30 minutes as we go over 9 News Now, our show at 5:30. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hair and wardrobe provided by